Today I want to show you how to make a wonky star block. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of ChatterboxQuilts.com, and before we get into today's video, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you'll be notified the next time I release a new video. Now this is the wonky star block, and it's really a 9-patch, and it uses some of your scrap fabrics, and it also uses an improv technique, so really easy to make, and I'm going to show you exactly all the different components that you need. So you can make these different squares whatever size you want. They're all going to be the same size. And I used 6.5-inch squares for mine, so it makes a pretty good size wonky star. But let me lay this all out for you first, and then we can talk about the different elements. All right, so we need 4 plain blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to go in the corners. Now I've used white here so you can see it well. You could use whatever color you want. Sometimes a dark one looks really cool when you're making these star blocks too. You need 4 leg blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're going to see one of these leg blocks doesn't look very good yet because I haven't made it. I want to show you how to do that, and that's where the improv technique comes in. And you need 1 center block. I chose a gold color because it's a star. So once you have these all made, you've got all your little legs made, you will join them together like you do with a 9-patch. So you'll join the 3 blocks together at the top, the 3 squares together at the top, the 3 in the center, the 3 at the bottom, and then you'll stitch all those rows together to get one wonky star block. So really, the only thing you have to make for this particular block is these star legs. So I want to go to the sewing machine now and show you how to make those star legs. So now I want to show you how to make the star leg, one of the star legs. Remember, we need 4 of them. So what I'm using is I've got one of my background squares. So this is a 6.5-inch one, and I have 2 pieces of fabric. You need 2 pieces of fabric to make 1 leg. Okay, I think that's most of the math we're going to do right now. So what you're doing with these is you're putting them down. You want to put them on 2 adjacent corners, and you want to put your fabric down and you want to sew it on with a 1/4-inch seam. Now, the whole trick to this is that, well, first off, you don't have to think too much. You don't have to match any seams or anything, but the trick is that you want to make sure that when you stitch this fabric down and you fold it back, that it covers the entire background square. So for example, when I have this on, like, say like this, and I stitch a 1/4-inch, you can see that it doesn't cover all the background square. That's a problem, okay? So what that means is I need to adjust my fabric. I might have to adjust the angle of it. I might have to adjust how close it is to the corner, but you need to just check that out first to make sure it's nice and close enough that it's going to cover that corner. And sometimes the angle is all I need to change, okay? But it depends on how much you want to see. So I'm going to actually take this little guy. Okay, it takes a little bit of fussing, not too much, but you don't want to get this wrong. And it's great to check first, right? It's easy to check first. So let me stitch this on. So just using a 1/4-inch seam, 1/4-inch-ish seam to do that. You don't have to be too precise on this. All right, I've got that on there, and we're gonna, the moment of truth here. Oh, thank goodness it covers. All right, so now I've got all this extra fabric. I'm not concerned about that right now. What I do want to do, and what's really crucial, is before you add the next part of that leg on, the other fabric, you need to fold this one and press it out of the way. I'm just using my Violet Craft roller here just to get it down and out of the way right now. You could press it after you're doing it. That would work really well. But you need to get it out of the way before you add the next one on. Okay, so depends on which way I want to add this. These are going to be legs. The legs don't have to join right across each other, but they typically do. And that's why you're pressing this down first. If I didn't press it down first, and then I added this one on, then we've got a problem. We've got a problem, okay? So that's why you're doing that. So this one is looking like it's working fairly well. I'm just going to move it up a bit. I try and use up as much of the fabric as I can. That'll work well, I think, right about there. So we'll put that on. You can also see how the triangle, if you have an extra fabric scrap that's a triangle, works really well. It's a little easier to use than strips, actually. Just want to make sure I stitch along far enough that I'm actually off, off the block. Okay, there we go. So again, I need to press this guy down. All right, so there's a leg. Okay, and they're kind of wonky looking, right? Now, you can see that we've got all this extra fabric. So the next thing you would have to do is just to trim this up. So I would just flip it over and I would take it to my cutting mat and I would just trim out all this excess fabric, which of course you will not throw away. It's going to go back into your scrap bin, right? Because you can use it for other things. All right, so let me go trim this up and I'll meet you back at the cutting table to show you what this looks like when you get this leg inserted into that star block. So I finished that last star leg and I put them together. Can you tell which one it is? I actually moved it around. It's not in the bottom spot. It's over here. This is the one we just made. Okay, so I trimmed it up and it's all ready to go. So you can see what they look like. Not too much thinking. Great way to use up scrap fabric. And when you make them like this with using the 6.5 inch squares for all the different parts of it, it actually makes a pretty good size block. It's about 18, I think it's 18 inches. So it would only take a few of these to make a fairly good size quilt. So it's a great way to just have some fun with your scrap fabrics and to make kind of a fun looking block, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and please share it with your quilting friends. If you'd like more helpful quilting information, go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.